your goal is to gain, right, more weight in accordance with your work, you have to eat more calories, right? You eat more calories and you put more resistance work. You know, you add the weight, right, over time. The muscle breaks down, you rest, right? When it breaks down, you rest, recuperate, you nourish, and then you build up and you keep repeating. There are 4 things that you need, period, if you're plant-based, right? You need healthy fat source, which can be cold pressed olive oil, your nuts, your seeds, avocados. That's the fat source, right? So you need also healthy carbohydrates, sprouted brown rice, jasmine rice, quinoa. Quinoa acts as a carbohydrate and also protein, right? Then you need your protein source. There's so many different, vegan proteins. You can look into my site, supermegafoods.com, and get the Super Mega Sport, an evolution of the Super Mega Protein, right? So the plant-based protein, you can have sprouted brown rice protein, pea protein, pumpkin protein. All of that is inside of the Super Mega Sport. I said earlier about, how the nuts, the seeds also have protein in them besides being fats, and some are carbohydrates, right? So some of your superfoods work. The reason why they call superfoods because they work in many different tiers. They have many different functions. That's why they call superfoods. So your quinoa will be a superfood because it not only applies to your protein, but it also applies, to your healthy carbohydrate. Let's go into the 4th thing you need in nourishment is the greens, the fruits, the vegetables, right? So your fats, your proteins, your healthy carbohydrates, your fruits and vegetables. Me, I'm a chlorophyllian, all right? So that's a deeper tier of what they call plant-based and vegan. I only say plant-based and vegan because that's what a lot of you are accustomed to knowing, even though I was born and raised in this lifestyle. So mainly my diet consumes between 80 to 90% mainly chlorophyllic leafy vegetables, okay? So your leeks, your spinach, kale, chard, right? I use those also, my micronutrients, with the Super Mega Greens. It's a concentrated plant-based blend that me and my company provide. All of your phytonutrients is also a superfood because it has multiple functions. So not only are you able to get the fiber that the body needs, the colon needs to help the digestion, good colon and gut health, because most of the health is in your colon, right? That's like they call it your second brain. Good colon health helps the whole body operate in its full capacity, right? So the Super Mega Greens will be a superfood because it helps to flush out waste and blockages inside of your bloodstream and your arteries and different parts of your organs, but it also builds, okay? It also builds up, it has the amino acids of the plants, so it helps to provide that. So for me, right? So if my goal is to put on mass, I will make sure that I eat with the 4 tiers I mentioned, a vegan plant-based fat source, carbohydrate source, fiber, fruits and vegetables, and a protein source. It doesn't have to be soy, right? I make sure that I have those points hit at least 3 times throughout my day. I can have it in a liquid meal or a solid meal. A liquid meal for that food, right? Because everything you have as a solid has to be broken down into liquid in the body. So a liquid meal, I would take 2 to 3 scoops of my Super Mega Sport, right? And each of the scoops is 20 grams of protein. So anywhere between 40 to 60 grams, every time that I have at least a 16 to 32 ounce. I'll add 2 scoops of the Mega Greens. So now I got my protein, right? Mega Greens is the greens, right? For the colon, right? It's the greens, the fiber, excuse me. So you got the fiber, got my protein, and then I'll add the fat. I'll add a whole avocado inside of that, right? And you can use 16 to 32 ounces of water. You can use almond milk, oat milk, whatever suits you. And then the fourth thing I'll add in my shake is a banana, which is carbohydrates. So in one liquid meal, I hit my carbohydrate, my fat, my fiber, and my protein. So if it's just a liquid meal, I'll have that. And you can add oats. Oats is also good for fiber and also carbohydrates, healthy carbohydrates. So I'll add some oats in there to really get that, right? And so I'll have my liquid meal about 3 times a day. And if the goal for, let's say, a 90-day goal is to put on 10 to 15 lean mass, more weight. So I'm gonna increase my calorie intake. I'm gonna have at least 3 liquid meals and 2 to 3 small solid meals that will comprise of the same formation, right? Plant-based protein source, vegetable source, fat source, and a carbohydrate. Just small portions, because everything I eat salad has to become liquid in the body. But the goal is to increase the frequency, because I want more calories. So if I'm trying to gain the weight, remember the weight is okay because I'm gonna gain the weight and I'm gonna put in those strength training resistance work. Okay, so the goal would be to supplement the increasing of the calories with high intensity work, right? Because my goal is to put on, 10 to 15 pounds of lean muscle mass between 90 days to maybe 120 days. And so I would make sure that when I go to the gym, I'm doing moderate to heavy weight, right? Every time I train, legs, arms, bis, triceps, shoulders, delts, chest, your 3 parts of your chest, your lower, middle, and upper, right? So I'm gonna work out with the intent to increase the volume, high volume training. And then I'm gonna nourish myself before training so I have enough fuel to burn and convert into muscle. And then after training, when my body's exhausted and I'm in rest, I'm gonna also make sure that I have hit the 4-tier fuel, liquid meal, right? 2 hours later, a solid meal. Again, if that's the goal, is to increase size, I'm gonna eat more, liquid or solid, and then I'm gonna train at a high level, okay? Now, for those that are plant-based and wanna shred down and lose, some weight, but still be fit, all you're gonna do is decrease the calories, still do the intense work, right? So still do your cardiovascular work, still do your resistance training, but you're not eating as many meals. So you may, instead of maybe doing 3 solid meals and 3 liquid meals for mass, you may dial it back to 1 solid meal and 2 high intense liquid meals, right? And you may do that 3 times a day. So you may eat 3 times a day, 1 solid, 2 liquid, right? High intensity cardio, high work, because your goal is to now go down in calories, but still make sure you keep your work up, get your rest and nourish. So that's the fundamentals, pretty much, family. I've been saying this many times. For more information, you can get my book, The Holistic Remedy, that's available on Amazon. It's retitled because it's just an expanded edition of my previous work called The Remedy that I put out 10 years ago. But it's a very comprehensive guide for fasting, detoxing, whether you're plant-based or not, just giving you the fundamentals that I'm explaining here. So, with this being said, when I was in the military, because I'm not a packaged plant-based eater, I know where to get my carbohydrates from, my proteins, my calories, right? I know how to eat. So I can be anywhere in the world and I can eat according to what my body needs. So it just so happens when I was in the service, when I was in basic training at the time when I enlisted, the campaign was Green the Force, if y'all can believe that. It's actually said it when I went to the DFACT. It said Green the Force. And it was a picture of a full battle, they call it full battle rattle, full decorated infantryman, and there was a whole bunch of greens behind, around him in the imagery. And so when I first went to the DFAC, they actually had non-dairy black bean burgers. They had quinoa, they had sprouted brown rice, and a bunch of fruits and vegetables. Now, of course, they had the regular American diet there, but I don't know what time it was in the military, but when I was there in Fort Benning doing my infantry training, that's what was in the DFAC. Also, so I was able to hit all of the points I told y'all, right? I was able to get my black bean burger, was the protein. Fruits and vegetables was my fiber. They had avocados, they have cold pressed olive oil, that's my fats. They had sprouted brown rice, they had quinoa, right? So I was able to eat that every day. Now, when I was in the field doing field training for weeks on end training in the field, my commander at the time, he had the opportunity to order for Muslims, Jews, and anybody that was vegan, plant-based, and vegetarian. They had something called field kosher MREs. They're very rare. They're not, everybody in the military doesn't get them, but he had a special order. So basically they were just high calorie, because you're in the field, you have to be out, you're not really back, in the workstation, so you're out. But they would, all of the snacks and the portable foods, no dairy, no soy, low sugar, right? And we were able to eat those. So, kind of like the black bean burgers, and they had like some, like a protein bar that was, that had no soy, no dairy, no whey in it, So they basically, I was able to use that in the field. Drank a lot of water. Hydration was the main thing you had to do doing basic training. Pretty much you had to drink a gallon of water a day, which I recommend for every human. Even if you don't have the time in one setting, from AM to PM, you should be having 16 to 32 ounces of water daily. But that's what they required in the military. So I was able to do that. We had plenty of fruits and vegetables. So pretty much I was able, who you are as your authentic self, wherever you choose to go, relationships, works of service, for the most part, you can vibrate and attract an opportunity to you. So I was clear that I wanted to serve at the time, and I was able to attract, so much support that didn't compromise my lifestyle. When I deployed, as many of you who followed me for many years have heard, I'm not gonna go into a long-winded, but you can check out my old videos on YouTube about deployed vegan in Afghanistan. For the most part, Afghanistan is a non-Monsanto, environment. So all the fruits and vegetables are organic, have seeds in them. So I was living at the time with some spiritual elders, some imams, as I was attached to two special forces units. And we were in the land with the people. And so we always had access to fresh fruits and vegetables. So I was deployed and not able to compromise my vegan, plant-based, chlorophyll lifestyle. I had my mega greens with me. So I was using the same concept that I had before military, same concept of when I was in basic training, and same concept I was when I was deployed. Making sure that I hit all 4 of my nutritional goals. Sometimes I wanted to slim down, so I cut my calories, high work, low calorie, rest. If I wanted to put on size, high volume work, lift that heavy weight, right? Eat more calories, put on size. I hope this video gave you some more insights. Log on to my site, supermegafoods.com, for more information. Well, salute.